have a small journey with you about the future which might lie into 5 to 7 years ahead, but maybe only 2 or 3. We will not know until we see it. Imagine you come home from your business flight and you recognize your phone is low on battery, and you have the problem you don't actually have any charger on you because you lost that in the hotel where you're coming from. The airport is far away, the taxi is already away. Didn't know where you lost it, in the hotel or in the taxi. You don't know. But you take your phone with 20% battery, go to Amazon or another platform like this, and you order a charger. But unfortunately, you're living on a village, 72 kilometers away from the warehouse, and it's Sunday. So probably it gets difficult. But how is it possible that you get your charger in less than 2 hours in that situation? 72 kilometers away, a drone is starting from the warehouse with a package. It's your charger. And the drone is not only one drone, there are hundreds of delivery drones all around. And it's like 5 kilometers away from the next highway. The problem is with the drone, 72 kilometers there, 72 kilometers back, wind, it's going to be a tough ride. Actually, the drone even cannot make it. In optimum environments, the drone might fly 100 kilometers. So what you do, you have a problem. But actually there is a solution to it. The drone itself has an identity, and the drone itself is able to do micropayments. And what the drone is doing, it's flying to the next highway, and there's all these autonomous trucks driving. And those autonomous trucks, they broadcast the information where they're driving to, because they have on top a deck for drones to land on and to recharge. So there might be different opportunities, a truck like only for drone delivery, or a truck which has on top of the store an area where the drone bay is. They might be even go so far that they can protect the drones, like wind, weather, snow, all the different stuff. So the drone flies to the truck, identifies the truck who goes in the right direction, and uses a smart contract to negotiate if the drone is allowed to jump on the truck. With the acceptance, it is recorded in an immutable ledger that both parties agreed on. It's a smart contract. And the drone starts to pay a fee for recharging, as well as for riding on the truck. And they drive together like 40 minutes. And then the drone recognizes, oh, actually, the truck is going in the wrong direction now. We come to a crossing, a highway crossing. I need to jump off here. The drone jumps off, lands on the next pad. It's like a pad which is close to the crossings to ensure that drones can wait there, that they are protected. They have the opportunity to wait until the next truck is coming by, going in the right direction. And then the drone jumps on again, driving the last 20 kilometers to jump off the truck and fly another last 15 kilometers to your village to drop the charger in front of your door, notifying you over your smartphone. And the same way back. This is how it is possible. And we saw blockchain like in the whole infrastructure behind it, for the identities, for the micropayments, for the immutable record of the supply chain. If the drone got damaged, shut down, something like that, you will see it in the immutable record, what was the last state of the drone. The insurance can be paid out or cannot be paid out depending on the situation, so there will be a smart contract solving that. And this is only transportation, a small part of transportation. And there is like much more things happening in that field. And I have like 1918. I want to ask you if you want to have or want to hear another last use case before we go into the break.
Yeah. Yes.
Let's go into another use case. So I love transportation because I think people like Elon Musk, which really inspires me, to be honest, changed the way how we actually use transportation. And Elon Musk is tackling transportation in the short range, in the medium range, and in the long range. In the short range, we see the autonomous cars, like the Tesla cars. In the medium range, we see all the different approaches for the Hyperloop project, which is like a tube where a bullet train can ride into with a speed of Mach 1, so each 1,000 kilometers. This will connect like all the big cities, Amsterdam, Berlin, Hamburg, Paris. And you can drive from each city to next city in less than 1 hour, like some 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. In the long range, they change it through rocket science, reusable rockets. They will build massive rockets being reusable, powered by like renewable energy to produce oxygen and hydrogen to refuel the rocket and launch it again. And they will do that for interplanetary journeys, but in the first step, they plan to do it for like traveling on the planet itself. Less, like everywhere in less than 1 hour. So things like this enable blockchain technology to support that development projects. Let's jump into the field of driverless cars, but for that we need to think a little bit about the history. When you ordered a car to get from point A to B in the 90s, you got a yellow taxi. You ordered this with the phone and the taxi came nearby, and there were some places where people wanted where people just knew that there were taxis there. And, sorry for a second. What was the big revolution in the taxi field? Like the next one?
My taxi.
Uber, My Taxi. Actually, it was a German company as well, before Uber, from Munich. And it was at the same time as My Taxi, but My Taxi didn't went that far. You were just able to order the taxi on your app. And like the taxi came nearby, and you were able to see where the taxi is. Really nice thing. Uber took the next step. They enabled like private drivers to do the same with a rating. Awesome, nice, because this means service. If you take an Uber ride, you probably get a good service because they want to have a good reputation. Take that to the next level. Uber started to test with Volvo cars and autonomous driving kits in 2015. How this is possible without the driver. So all the drivers working for Uber actually help to make themselves obsolete. Like all the drivers you have today in like trucks, like trains, and taxis, pilots, all those people will be obsolete if we have intelligence good enough to do that for them. So let's come back to Tesla. Imagine a Tesla car which is able to drive fully autonomous. And you have the situation that you want to order a taxi. You come on the airport and you want to order a taxi. What you do is you go with your app and order the best, like the cheapest ride with the right like reputation available. And this is an ecosystem. So this is an open platform where every car itself is owned only by itself. How is this possible, you might ask yourself? Well, actually we need an initial funding for that. So for example, we have a foundation which buys some cars which are autonomous and gives them the opportunity to work for themselves with a self-digital identity, so on the blockchain, with the opportunity to do micropayments, with the opportunity to use insurances to ensure if damage is happening to them or to others that this is covered, workshops which will pay based on smart contracts related to the defect they have or problems. Because with additional sensors, the cars will know what is not okay. They will have like sophisticated self-testing systems. If you're riding in a car like this, you only rent the car for some minutes. And because you don't have a driver and they're like using rechargeable energy and all the other stuff, it's really, really cheap to use them. It's even cheaper than using a bus. And if you make problems in the car, the sensors will recognize anomalies. And the security firm might observe like the internal cameras of the car to check if you are acting malicious against the car, notifying the authorities if you act malicious, for example. This is possible without full surveillance. This can be an in-case situation where the company or the foundation who provides the services for the self-owned cars, like where to pick up the next guest, like which are the good workshops to go to, like is this actually malicious acts against the car? And the cars itself can pay themselves off, the price will decrease, the maximum amount of cars you need in a city are those on peak time, like for Berlin maybe 20,000 or 200,000, I'm not sure. Like There's a small number compared to the cars we have out there, because the most time cars spent sitting somewhere doing nothing. So blockchain will enable to do transactions between all the different machines, between the different people and the machines. Smart contracts as a trust layer. And foundations which produce those decentralized logistic infrastructure will provide a cheaper service in the economy than a paid service, because the paid service will charge a fee on top. And if they offer the same service, they will be more expensive. That's the reason why in the long run, these platforms are zero margin models. You cannot compete against companies which earn a lot of money with it. If you want to get rich with something like this, you need to own a part of that new market share through creating it and giving it away. That's really interesting. So the old rules do not apply anymore. I hope that this helped you to get a little bit of inspiration of what things might come there, even if this is, I think, thought a little bit further than the drones. But there are a lot of amazing things happening, and a lot of things which I probably do not know about right now, and I have no clue. But I hope that we can help each other to understand more about it through discussions, and please exchange ideas about it. And like I said already, I hope to see somebody of you in the future standing up here telling us something about their ideas. So thank you, and let's go for the 15 minutes.